Debt becomes dangerous when it protects an image you can no longer afford. If credit is the only reason life still looks stable, the issue may not be one purchase. It may be the fear of being seen honestly. Scripture does not treat hidden obligation as harmless because the borrower gives away part of tomorrow's freedom before the heart admits what today is costing. So the test begins with necessity. Appearance. Proverbs 22:7, Luke 14. Credit pressure and contentment. Emergency borrowing may come from need, from a broken car, a medical bill, or food before the next paycheck. Image protecting debt is different. It keeps the dinner, the clothes, the trip, the upgrade, or the lifestyle in place so no one can tell the season has changed. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The borrower is servant to the lender. Debt is a freedom issue before it is a budgeting issue." The first test in this pattern is the authority test. Not whether the purchase was allowed, not whether the payment went through. The deeper question is, who now has a claim on the money you have not earned yet? That is why the warning about the borrower becoming a servant matters so much. It is not calling every emergency loan rebellion. It is showing that debt can quietly move tomorrow's choices under someone else's terms. Before we talk about interest rates, we have to talk about lordship over tomorrow. Romans 13:8 says, "Owe no one anything except to love each other." That verse should be handled carefully. It is not a weapon to crush someone who borrowed during a crisis, but it does warn the believer not to treat unpaid obligation as a normal covering for a life that no longer fits. When credit becomes the thing keeping your image steady, the lender is not only waiting for money. The lender is shaping your calendar, your stress, your yes, your no, and sometimes even your peace at home. So the question is not, can I make the minimum payment? The question is, what part of my freedom am I handing over to keep this appearance alive? That question is serious, but it is not meant to bury you in shame. It is meant to wake up your honesty while there is still time to obey. The cost test begins before the card is used. In Luke 14, Jesus describes someone wanting to build a tower. Before the work begins, he must sit down and count the cost. That pause matters. The visible shame is not only the unfinished tower. The deeper warning is a person beginning what honest calculation would have challenged first. This is where image, protecting credit, becomes dangerous. It offers movement without truth. It lets the purchase happen before the heart has admitted what the purchase is asking from tomorrow. The first unit of the test is simple. Can you sit down before you spend, or do you need the speed of credit to avoid the truth? Luke 14:28-30 does not treat calculation as cold or faithless. Jesus uses it as wisdom. Counting the cost means asking what money is already promised elsewhere. It means asking what the interest will do. It means asking how long the balance will remain. It also means asking a quieter question. Is this purchase meeting a need, or is it helping me look less strained than I really am? Now bring the question closer. What happens when the purchase is not large enough to look foolish, but repeated enough to become bondage? One dinner may not feel like a tower. One outfit may not feel like a tower. One small balance carried into next month may not feel like a tower. But the structure can still rise. It rises through small refusals to calculate. It rises each time peace is postponed with a swipe. Soon the weight over the home is not stone, it is obligation. And Proverbs 22:7 already named that danger. The borrower becomes servant to the lender. The second unit is scale. This is not one strange weakness in one household. Federal Reserve consumer credit data from recent years places U.S. revolving consumer credit above $1 trillion. Revolving credit means balances that can roll from month to month, especially on credit cards. That number matters because it shows how normal the pattern has become. Many people are not simply buying one thing, they are living with a rolling delay. The danger is that what becomes normal socially can stop feeling serious spiritually, but Scripture does not call bondage harmless just because many people share it. The third unit is pressure. New York Fed household debt reports in 2023 and 2024 showed credit card balances reaching record highs while more borrowers moved into serious delinquency. More people were not only carrying balances, more people were falling behind. This is the part the appearance cannot protect. The bill arrives after the dinner is forgotten. The fee comes after the outfit has been worn. The minimum payment appears after the moment of relief has passed. The private delay eventually becomes material pressure because debt keeps speaking after the image has gone quiet. The fourth unit is the hidden price. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau explains in its credit card materials that carried balances create interest charges and fees over time. In daily language, the thing can cost more after you buy it than it seemed to cost when you chose it. That is the strange exchange. Credit can make a purchase feel smaller at the exact moment it is becoming larger. The register shows one price, the statement may tell another story. And if the motive was to keep life looking normal, the cost is not only financial, the cost is honesty. Proverbs 21:17 says, "Whoever loves pleasure will be poor, and whoever loves wine and oil will not be rich." That is not a ban on every comfort. It is a warning about comforts becoming too precious to question. So the action is not panic, it is calculation before concealment. Sit down with the balance, the rate, the minimum payment, the payoff date, and the real reason the purchase felt necessary. If the reason was need, seek wise help without pretending. If the reason was fear of looking reduced, then God is touching the motive, not just the math. A counted cost can still become a corrected path. The third test is the appearance test, and it asks why the charge felt easier than the truth. This is where the issue moves from the card in your hand to the fear underneath it. Maybe the fear is looking behind, disappointing family, lowering a standard, or admitting this season is tighter than it appears. In 1954, Leon Festinger described social comparison as the way people measure themselves against others when clear standards feel uncertain. In daily life, someone else's vacation, furniture, clothes, or children's activities can become the ruler for your obedience. But Scripture does not let comparison become your master. 1 Timothy 6 says godliness with contentment is great gain, then warns that craving more can pierce a person with many griefs. That grief can look like a quiet balance you do not mention, a payment you resent, or a lifestyle you keep funding because honesty feels humiliating. The recognition moment is simple, but not easy. If credit is protecting an image, the next faithful step may be visible reduction. Let the standard come down before the burden goes up. Let the season be seen clearly so the heart can stop borrowing peace from a future it has not yet reached. Philippians 4 does not make contentment sound automatic. Paul says he learned how to live with little and how to live with plenty through Christ who strengthened him. Contentment is trained under changing conditions, not instantly felt when the bill comes due. If credit has been helping your life appear unchanged, the faithful move may be to practice a smaller, visible life before pressure makes the choice for you. That is not denial, and it is not despair. It is obedience becoming honest before the burden grows. Truth first, freedom follows. If one point named your situation, write that one word in the comments, needing image, cost, or contentment. And if this helped you trust God with money more clearly, share it with someone carrying the same hidden weight. Keep it close.